The text message read, "Please help. He broke my mom's arm." 9-year-old Lily Martinez's fingers were shaking so hard she could barely type. Her mother lay unconscious on the kitchen floor, bleeding and crying in pain. The phone number Lily texted, it wasn't her aunt's. It wasn't the police. It was Dom Caruso, head of the Caruso crime family in Chicago, a man she'd never met, a stranger who had no reason to care. But when his phone buzzed at 11 p.m. and he read those 5 words, the most feared mafia boss in Chicago did something that would change everything. Before we continue, please subscribe to the channel and let us know where you're watching from in the comments. Lily's hands wouldn't stop shaking as she typed the message again. "Please come. 847 Maple Creek Lane. Hurry." Her mom, Sarah, lay motionless on the kitchen floor, her arm bent at a wrong angle, blood pooling under her head from where she'd hit the counter. Rick, her stepdad, had done this. Came home drunk, started screaming about money, grabbed Sarah's arm and twisted until something cracked. Then he ran, just grabbed his keys and disappeared, leaving them bleeding on the floor. Lily knew the emergency numbers were on the fridge. Aunt Monica's number was written there in her mom's handwriting. But Sarah had updated it last week, made one mistake copying the digits. One wrong number. Instead of 555-0147, she'd written 555-0174. That number belonged to Dominic Caruso. Lily didn't know this. Just grabbed her mom's phone with trembling hands and texted the number on the fridge, begging for help because her mom wasn't moving and there was so much blood. Dom sat in his penthouse office overlooking Chicago, discussing a shipping dispute with his consigliera when his phone buzzed. Unknown number. He never answered unknown numbers. But something made him look. "Please help. He broke my mom's arm. She's not moving. I'm scared. Please come. 847 Maple Creek Lane." His blood went cold. "Boss, it's probably a scam," his consigliera said. "Or a trap." Dom stared at the message. Thought about his daughter Isabella, dead 3 years in a car accident. She would have been 12 now. This girl, whoever she was, sounded young, terrified, desperate. "Get the car. Now." "Boss, this is insane." "I said now." Dom texted back. "I'm on my way. Hold on. Keep your mother warm. Don't open the door for anyone except me. I'll knock 3 times. What's your name?" The response came immediately. "Lily. Please hurry. There's so much blood." Dom grabbed his jacket and gun, headed for the elevator. His men scrambled after him. "Where are we going?" "To save a little girl. 20-minute drive." Dom checked the address. Working-class neighborhood, not his territory. He texted Lily updates. 10 minutes away. "Stay strong." She responded, "What if he comes back?" "Rick, my stepdad. What if he comes back?" Dom's jaw clenched. "Then I'll handle him. You stay with your mom." His driver tried reasoning. "Boss, you don't know these people. This could be anything. Drive faster." Lily sat beside her unconscious mother, pressing towels against the cut on Sarah's head. Her mom's arm was bent wrong, clearly broken. Her breathing was shallow, scary. Lily kept texting the stranger, "Please hurry. I think she's dying." The response, "She's not dying. You're doing great. I'm 5 minutes away." Dom's black SUV pulled up to 847 Maple Creek Lane. Small house, peeling paint, overgrown lawn. Lights on inside. He walked to the door alone, knocked 3 times. Small footsteps running. "Who is it?" A child's voice, terrified. "Dominic. I'm the one you texted." The door cracked open. A little girl, maybe 9, looked up at him with huge, scared eyes. "Your mom?" he asked gently. "Kitchen. She's not waking up." Dom pushed past her, found Sarah on the floor. Blood under her head, arm bent at an unnatural angle, unconscious but breathing. He'd seen worse, much worse, but this was different. This was someone's mother. "Lily, call 911. Right now. But now. Tell them your mother fell and hit her head. Ambulance only, not police yet." Lily called, gave the address while Dom knelt beside Sarah. Checked her pulse, weak but steady. Fractured arm, possible concussion, definitely needed a hospital. "Ambulance is coming," Lily whispered. "Are you a doctor?" "No, but I know injuries. She'll be okay." Headlights in the driveway. A truck pulling in. Rick was back. Dom stood slowly, his entire demeanor changing. The gentleman helping Sarah vanished, replaced by something cold and lethal. Rick stumbled out of his truck, drunk, aggressive. "Sarah, Lily, where the hell?" He saw the lights, the open door, a stranger in his house. "Who the fuck are you?" Dom stepped into the doorway, blocking his path. "The person who's going to teach you what happens when you hurt children." Rick lunged forward, fist raised. Dom moved. One punch, precise, brutal, devastating. Rick's jaw shattered. He dropped like a stone. Lily watched from inside, eyes wide. "Is he dead?" "No, but he's going to wish he was." Sirens approaching. Dom turned to Lily. "When the paramedics come, tell them your mom fell. That's it. Nothing else." "What about Rick?" "I'll handle Rick." "Why did you come? You don't even know us." Dom's face softened. "Because someone needed help, and I was in a position to give it." The ambulance pulled up. Paramedics rushed in, loaded Sarah onto a stretcher. Dom stayed in the shadows, made sure they took her to the right hospital, one where he had connections, where she'd be safe. Police arrived, saw Rick unconscious with a broken jaw. Dom's story was simple. "I'm a friend of the family. Heard screaming, came to help. He attacked me. I defended myself. The cops didn't push." One look at Sarah's injuries, they knew who the real monster was. Rick was arrested, charged with domestic battery, child endangerment. His broken jaw was evidence of resisting assistance. Dom watched them take him away, then looked at Lily in the ambulance with her unconscious mother. That little girl had sent a text to a wrong number. A desperate plea for help to a complete stranger. And that stranger happened to be the most dangerous man in Chicago. But for the first time in 3 years, since his daughter died, Dom felt something he thought was dead. Purpose. He climbed into his SUV. "Follow the ambulance. I want eyes on them until I get there." "Boss, why are we doing this?" Dom looked at his consigliere. "Because 3 years ago, my daughter needed help, and I wasn't there. Tonight, someone else's daughter needed help, and I was. This is going to complicate things. The girl's family, the stepdad's connections. I don't care. That little girl texted me for help. I'm not walking away." At the hospital, Lily sat in the waiting room, alone and terrified. Her mom was in surgery. Rick was in custody, and she had no idea what happened next. Then Dom walked in. Lily looked up, saw him, and burst into tears. "Is my mom going to die?" Dom sat beside her, this hardened criminal who'd killed more men than he could count. "No, sweetheart. She's going to be okay. I promise." "How do you know?" "Because I won't let anything happen to her. Or to you. But you don't even know us." Dom thought about Isabella, about the daughter he'd lost, about the text message that had given him something he thought he'd never have again, a reason to care. "I know enough," he said quietly. "I know you're brave. I know you love your mom. And I know you reached out for help when you needed it most. That's all I need to know." Lily leaned against him, exhausted. Dom froze. Hadn't had a child lean on him since Isabella died. Then slowly put his arm around her. "Thank you for coming," Lily whispered. "Always," Dom said, and meant it. Because that wrong number? It wasn't wrong at all. It was exactly right. And Dom Caruso, the mob boss who'd spent 20 years building an empire on fear, had just found something more powerful than fear. Hope. In a 9-year-old girl who'd been brave enough to text a stranger. And a mother fighting for her life 3 floors above them. This was just the beginning. Because Dom had made a promise. Sarah woke up 16 hours later in a hospital room she didn't recognize. Too nice. Too quiet. Too expensive. Her arm was in a cast. Her head pounded. Her last memory was Rick's hands on her, twisting, the sound of bone breaking. Then nothing. "Lily." Her voice came out hoarse, panicked. "Where's Lily?" A nurse appeared. "She's safe. In the waiting room with the gentleman who brought you in." Sarah's heart stopped. "What gentleman? Where's Rick?" "Ma'am, you need to stay calm." "Where is my daughter?" The door opened. A man in an expensive suit walked in, followed by Lily, who ran to the bed. "Mama." Sarah grabbed her daughter with her good arm, pulled her close, checked for injuries. "Baby, are you hurt? Did he hurt you?" "I'm fine. This man saved us." Sarah looked up at the stranger. Older, maybe 45, dark hair graying at the temples, eyes that had seen too much. Everything about him screamed money and power and danger. "Who are you?" "Dominic Caruso. Your daughter texted me by mistake." "Wrong number." "I came anyway." The name registered. Sarah had heard it whispered in her old neighborhood. The mobster. The crime boss. The man you didn't cross. "Oh God. Lily, what did you do?" "I texted Aunt Monica's number like you said." Sarah realized she'd written the number wrong on the fridge. One digit off. Instead of reaching her sister, Lily had reached a Mafia boss. "I need to explain. We can't pay you back. We don't have money." "Stop." Dom's voice was firm, but not unkind. "You don't owe me anything. Everyone owes you something. That's how your world works." "My world, not yours." He pulled a chair close to her bed. "Your daughter sent a text asking for help. I helped. That's all this is. Nobody helps for free. Especially not people like you. People like me." Dom's jaw tightened. "You're right. Usually I don't. But your daughter's text came through while I was in a meeting. I almost ignored it. Then I read it again. 'Please help. He broke my mom's arm.' 5 words. And all I could think about was my daughter." Sarah's anger faded slightly. "You have a daughter?" "Had. She died 3 years ago. Car accident. She was 9. Same age as Lily." The pain in his voice was real raw. Sarah understood loss, had been living in it for 3 years with Rick. "I'm sorry. So am I. But last night, when Lily needed help, I could be there. I couldn't save my daughter, but I could save yours." A doctor entered, started checking Sarah's vitals, explained her injuries. Fractured radius and ulna, concussion, bruised ribs, lacerations requiring stitches. She'd heal, but it would take time. "What about Rick?" The doctor glanced at Dom, then back to Sarah. "He's been arrested. Assault, battery, child endangerment. He's claiming you attacked him first." Sarah's stomach dropped. "That's not true." "We know." Dom's voice cut through her panic. "The evidence is clear. Your injuries. Lily's 911 call. Rick's history. I had someone pull his records. He has 2 previous domestic violence complaints from other relationships. He's going to prison. You had someone pull his records?" "How?" Sarah stopped herself. "Of course he did. This was Dominic Caruso. He could pull anything. I need to make sure you and Lily are safe. That means knowing everything about the threat." The doctor finished his examination and left. Dom stayed. Sarah looked at him carefully. "What do you want from us?" "Nothing. I don't believe you." "Then don't. But won't change anything. You're hurt. Lily's traumatized. Rick will make bail in a few days and come looking for revenge. You need protection. I'm offering it. In exchange for what?" "In exchange for letting me keep the promise I made to Lily last night." "What promise?" Dom looked at the little girl coloring in the corner, trying to pretend she wasn't listening. "That I'd keep her and her mom safe. That's all." Sarah wanted to argue, wanted to refuse, wanted to maintain her independence and dignity. But she looked at Lily, her baby, who'd been so brave, who'd sent a text to a stranger because she had no one else, and realized she had no choice. "Okay, but just until Rick's trial. Then we go back to our lives." Agreed. What Sarah didn't know was that her hospital bills had already been paid. Not just the current ones, all of them. The $127,000 in medical debt from Lily's emergency appendectomy 2 years ago. The $43,000 from Sarah's own ER visit last year when Rick had broken her ribs. All of it. Gone. Dom had made one phone call, and Sarah Martinez was debt-free for the first time in 5 years. He didn't tell her. Didn't want her gratitude or her guilt. Just did it because he could, because she needed it, because that's what you did for family. And somehow, without meaning to, this stranger and her daughter had become family. 3 days later, Sarah was discharged. Dom had arranged everything. A car to pick them up, groceries delivered to their house, new locks installed on all the doors. Sarah walked into her home and found it transformed. The blood cleaned from the kitchen floor. The broken chair Rick had thrown replaced. Fresh paint covering the hole he'd punched in the wall 3 months ago. "You did this." Dom stood in the doorway. "You shouldn't have to come home to reminders. This is too much. It's the minimum you deserve." Lily ran through the house, marveling at the changes. New curtains, fixed cabinets, the leaky faucet repaired. All the things Sarah had been meaning to fix but couldn't afford. "Mr. Caruso, look." The bathroom door closes now. Sarah felt tears building. I can't accept all this. I can't repay. Stop saying that. You're not in debt to me. You're under my protection. There's a difference. What difference? Debt implies you owe me something. Protection means I owe you. Your daughter saved me last night. Gave me purpose I hadn't felt in 3 years. I'm the one in debt. That night, Dom's men stayed outside, rotating shifts, watching the house, making sure Rick's family didn't try anything stupid. Because Rick had family. An older brother, Danny, who worked enforcement for a rival crew. And Danny was already making noise about revenge. Dom's phone rang at 2 a.m. His consigliere. Boss, we have a problem. Rick's brother is connected to the Kozlov organization. They're asking questions about why you're protecting some random woman and kid. Tell them the truth. The kid texted me for help. I help. They think it's a power play. That you're moving into their territory. I'm not moving anywhere. I'm protecting a child. They don't believe that. Then they're going to learn the hard way that I don't care what they believe. Dom hung up and looked at the house where Sarah and Lily slept. He'd made a promise. And if the Kozlov crew wanted to test him, they'd discover exactly how far he'd go to keep that promise. The next morning, Sarah found an envelope on her kitchen table. Inside, a check for $50,000 and a note. For expenses. New start. Not a loan. Not a debt. Just help. D.C. Sarah's hands shook. $50,000. More money than she'd seen in her life. She called the number Dom had given her. I can't accept this. Too late. It's already yours. Dominic, this is insane. You don't know me. You don't know if I'll just take the money and run. Then run. Take Lily somewhere safe. Start over. That's fine too. Why are you doing this? Because 3 years ago, a drunk driver killed my daughter and got 6 months in jail. 6 months for destroying my entire world. I wanted to burn down the justice system. Wanted to kill everyone involved. Wanted to make the world hurt as much as I did. Did you? No. My wife stopped me. Said Isabella wouldn't want that. 3 months later, my wife died too. Couldn't live with the grief. So I lost them both. Sarah understood. And you've been empty ever since. Until your daughter's text. For the first time in 3 years, I felt something. I felt needed. I felt useful. I felt like maybe I could save someone even if I couldn't save my own family. So we're your redemption project. You're my second chance. Sarah didn't know what to say to that. Didn't know how to process a crime boss bearing his soul because her 9-year-old had sent a wrong number text. What happens when Rick gets out? When his family comes after us? They won't get the chance. You can't watch us forever. Watch me. Rick made bail 4 days later. Posted by his brother Danny, who was already planning revenge. But when Rick got home, he found his apartment cleaned out. Everything gone. His clothes, his furniture, his TV, everything. And a note on the door. Leave Chicago. Tonight. Or what happened to your jaw will seem gentle. D.C. Rick called Danny, furious. That mobster threatened me. Then let's handle him. How? He's Dominic Caruso. I don't care who he is. He put you in the hospital. We're going to make him pay. What Danny didn't know was that Dom's men were already listening. Had tapped Rick's phone the day he made bail. Knew every plan, every move, every stupid decision before it happened. Dom sat in his office, listening to the recorded conversation, and made a decision. Rick and Danny were going to come after Sarah and Lily. It was inevitable. Men like them didn't walk away, didn't learn lessons, didn't stop until they were stopped. So Dom was going to stop them. Permanently. Not because it was smart business. Not because it helped his organization. But because he'd made a promise to a 9-year-old girl who'd texted him for help. And promises mattered more than anything. He picked up his phone. Luca, gather the crew. We have a situation that needs handling. How permanent? Dom thought about Lily's scared voice on that text. About Sarah's broken arm. About the fear in their eyes. Very permanent. Make it clear that touching this family means war. Boss, is this worth starting a war over? Dom looked at the drawing Lily had made him, taped to his office wall. Stick figures holding hands. Her, Sarah, and him. A family she'd drawn even though they barely knew each other. Yes, this is worth everything. Because that wrong number text hadn't just saved Sarah and Lily. It had saved him too, and he wasn't going to let anyone take that away. Not Rick. Not Danny. Not the entire Kozlov organization. Danny Kozlowski watched Sarah's house from across the street. Engine running, hand on his gun. 3 days planning. 3 days watching Dom's men rotate shifts. 3 days waiting for an opening. Tonight was the night. Dom's crew changed shifts at 11 p.m. 15-minute gap when the street was clear. That's all Danny needed. Get in, grab the kid, send Caruso a message. His phone buzzed. Text from Rick, "Don't do this. Just leave it." Danny ignored it. His little brother was weak, always had been. Someone breaks your jaw, you break their world. Simple math. 11 p.m. The black SUV with Dom's men pulled away. Danny counted to 60, then moved. He made it exactly 12 steps before a gun pressed against his skull. Going somewhere, Danny froze. Recognized the voice, Luca, Dom's right hand. "This is a public street. This is a monitored street. We watch you for 3 days. Let you think you found a gap. You didn't. We gave you one. Wanted to see if you were stupid enough to take it." More men emerged from shadows. 6 of them, all armed. "Boss wants to talk to you." Now, Dom sat in a warehouse in Red Hook, waiting. Danny was brought in, hands zip-tied, face pale. "Sit." Danny sat. "You're Rick's brother." "Yeah." "You plan to grab the girl. Use her against me." "I was just." "Don't lie. I have recordings of every conversation you've had this week. Every plan. Every stupid idea. You and Rick thought you could come at me through a 9-year-old child." Danny's voice cracked. "He's my brother. You broke his jaw. Your brother broke a woman's arm in front of her daughter. I showed restraint. But you? Planning to kidnap a child? There's no restraint for that." Dom leaned forward. "Here's what's going to happen. You're leaving Chicago. Tonight. You're going to tell Victor Kozlov this was personal stupidity, nothing to do with him. And you're never going to think about Sarah or Lily Martinez again. And if I don't..." Dom pulled out his phone, showed Danny photos. His apartment. His girlfriend. His mother's house. All under surveillance. Then everyone you love learns what it's like to lose someone. Choose. Danny saw the truth in Dom's eyes. This wasn't a bluff. This was a promise. Okay. I'm gone. Good. You have 2 hours. My men will escort you to the state line. If you ever come back, you disappear. Understood. Dom had his men remove Danny. The threat was handled. For now. But Dom knew Rick wouldn't stop. Men like him never did. They festered, plotted, waited for opportunities. So Dom made another call. To a judge he owned. To a prosecutor who owed him favors. To people who could make sure Rick's trial went exactly the way it needed to. Rick was going to prison. For a long time. And when he got out, if he got out, Dom would make sure he understood the cost of threatening this family. Sarah knew something had happened. Dom came to dinner that night. Had become a weekly thing. Tuesday nights, him bringing takeout, Lily doing homework at the table while they ate. But tonight he seemed different. Tense. Watching the windows too carefully. What's wrong? Nothing you need to worry about. Dominic. He looked at her. 6 weeks since that first text. 6 weeks of him inserting himself into their lives. Paying bills. Fixing problems. Being present in a way Rick never was. Rick's brother tried something. It's handled. Sarah's blood went cold. Tried what? Doesn't matter. He's gone. Out of state. Won't be back. You threatened him. I protected you. By threatening more violence. By making sure the violence never reaches you. There's a difference. Lily looked up from her homework. Are the bad men gone? Dom's face softened. Yes, sweetheart. They're gone. Good. Because I like you coming to dinner. I don't want you to stop. Something in Dom's chest cracked. This little girl who barely knew him, who had every reason to fear men after what Rick did, trusted him completely. I'm not going anywhere. After Lily went to bed, Sarah confronted him on the porch. I can't keep living like this. Looking over my shoulder. Waiting for the next threat. This isn't sustainable. It is if I'm here. You can't watch us forever. Why not? Because you have a life. A business. You're not responsible for us. Yes, I am. Dom's voice was firm. The moment I answered that text, I became responsible. The moment I promised Lily she'd be safe, I became responsible. That's how this works. That's not how anything works. We're strangers. You stop being strangers the second your daughter trusted me enough to ask for help. Sarah felt tears coming. I don't know how to do this. Don't know how to accept help. Don't know how to let someone protect me. Rick spent 3 years making me feel weak, making me feel like I deserve the pain. And now you're here, being kind, and I don't know what to do with that. Dom stepped closer. You don't have to do anything except let me help. Why? Why do you care so much? Because I couldn't save my daughter, but I can save yours. And maybe that means something. Maybe that makes losing Isabella hurt a little less. Sarah understood then. This wasn't about obligation or debt. This was about a broken man trying to find purpose in protecting what he'd failed to protect before. Okay, 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 you can keep helping. But on one condition, you stop treating us like a mission. We're people, not a project. Dom smiled. First real smile she'd seen. Deal. Rick's trial came 8 weeks after the arrest. The prosecution had everything. Medical records, Lily's testimony via video, 3 witnesses who'd heard the fighting, Rick's prior complaints from other women. His public defender tried, argued self-defense, claimed Sarah provoked him, suggested the injuries were exaggerated. The jury deliberated 90 minutes. Guilty on all counts. The judge, one of the ones Dom had called, sentenced him to 12 years. With parole possibilities, maybe 8. Sarah cried in the courtroom. Relief, trauma, everything pouring out at once. Dom sat behind her, silent support, steady presence. When Rick was led away in handcuffs, he looked back at Sarah, mouthed the words, "This isn't over." Dom saw it, made a note. Rick would learn in prison that threats against Sarah Martinez had consequences. Dom had connections inside. Rick would spend his sentence looking over his shoulder, understanding exactly what it felt like to be afraid. Outside the courthouse, reporters swarmed. The case had gotten attention. Rich crime boss protecting domestic violence victim. The wrong number text that started it all. Sarah hid her face. Dom's men cleared a path to the car. "Mrs. Martinez, how does it feel knowing Dominic Caruso saved your life?" Sarah stopped, looked at the reporter. "He didn't save my life. My daughter did. She was brave enough to ask for help. Mr. Caruso was kind enough to answer. That's all this is." But everyone knew it was more than that. 3 months after the text, Sarah got a job offer. Property manager for one of Dom's buildings. Salary, $75,000 a year. She confronted him immediately. "I don't want charity. It's not charity. I need someone I trust managing that property. You're organized, responsible, and honest. The job's yours if you want it. I've never managed property before. You've managed surviving an abusive relationship while raising a daughter alone. You can handle some apartments." Sarah wanted to refuse, wanted to maintain her pride. But $75,000 was life-changing money. Could give Lily opportunities Sarah never had. "I'll take it, but I'm working for it. No special treatment. Wouldn't dream of it." She started the next week. Turned out she was good at it, great at it, actually. Organized, efficient, fair with tenants. Within 2 months, Dom had her managing 3 more buildings. Sarah Martinez, who'd spent 3 years believing she was worthless, discovered she was capable of running a small empire. And Dom watched her bloom, this strong woman who'd been beaten down, but never broken, and felt something he hadn't felt since his wife died. Not just purpose, something more. He was falling in love with her. 6 months after the text, Lily's nightmares finally stopped. She'd been in therapy since the attack, processing the trauma, learning she wasn't responsible for Rick's violence. Dom had paid for the therapy. Best child psychologist in Chicago. Twice-a-week sessions. Whatever she needed. One night, after dinner, Lily asked him a question. "Mr. Caruso, are you going to marry my mom?" Dom nearly choked on his coffee. "What? You come over all the time. You fix things. You make her smile. That's what dads do, right?" Sarah, in the kitchen, heard every word. Froze. "Lily, it's more complicated than that." "Why?" "You like her. She likes you. I like you. That's not complicated. Your mom and I are friends. Friends don't look at each other like you do." Dom had no answer for that. Because the kid was right. He did look at Sarah differently. Had been looking at her differently for months. But admitting it felt like betraying Isabella's memory. Sarah came out of the kitchen. "Lily bed. Now. But. Now." Lily huffed, but obeyed. Once she was gone, Sarah sat across from Dom. "I'm sorry. She's 9. She doesn't understand. She understands perfectly. Dom met her eyes. The question is, does she? Sarah's breath caught. Does she what? Is she right? About how you look at me. 6 months. 6 months of him being present, protective, patient. 6 months of slowly rebuilding trust in men, in safety, in the possibility of something good. Yes, Sarah whispered. She's right. Good. Because she's right about me, too. They kissed. Gentle, careful, testing. When they broke apart, both were crying. This is insane, Sarah said. You're a crime boss. I'm a property manager. We have no business being happy. Dom finished. Maybe, but I'm done apologizing for finding something worth living for. What happens when your world catches up with us? When being with you puts Lily in danger? Then I'll handle it, like I've handled everything else. You can't fight the whole world. Watch me. 1 year after the text message, Sarah Martinez became Sarah Caruso. Small ceremony. City Hall. Just them, Lily, and Dom's closest men. No press. No spectacle. Just a promise between two broken people who'd found healing in each other. Lily wore a white dress, carried flowers, took her role as flower girl seriously, even though there were only 7 people in the room. When the officiant said, "You may kiss the bride," Lily cheered louder than everyone else combined. Dom's men had never seen their boss smile like that. Had never seen him look at anyone the way he looked at Sarah, like she was oxygen and he'd been drowning for 3 years. After the ceremony, Luca pulled Dom aside. "Boss, you sure about this? Marrying into a family means complications. Rick gets out in 6 years. His people won't forget. Let them remember. Let them know that touching my family means death. She's changed you. She saved me." 18 months after the text, Dom officially adopted Lily. The paperwork took months. Background checks, home studies, interviews. A Mafia boss adopting his wife's daughter raised eyebrows. But Dom's lawyers were thorough, his legitimate businesses provided cover, and no judge wanted to separate a child from a man who'd saved her life. The day became official. Lily asked if she could call him Dad. Dom, the man who'd ordered executions without flinching, broke down crying. "Yes, please." From that day forward, Lily Martinez became Lily Caruso, and Dom became Dad. Rick, rotting in prison, heard about it from his lawyer. Went ballistic, demanded appeals, custody hearings, anything to stop it. Every request was denied. His daughter now legally belonged to the man who'd put him in prison. The irony wasn't lost on anyone. 2 years after the text, Sarah ran Dom's entire property management division. 12 buildings, 300 units, $15 million in annual revenue. She discovered a talent for business, for negotiation, organization, management. The woman who'd thought herself worthless was now running a legitimate empire. Dom watched her thrive and felt something he'd stopped believing in, pride. Not in owning her success, but in witnessing her discover her own strength. At night, after Lily was asleep, they'd sit on their penthouse balcony overlooking Chicago. "Do you ever regret it?" Sarah asked one night, answering that text. "Every day." She looked at him hurt. "I regret that you had to suffer to bring you to me. I regret that Lily had to be traumatized. I regret that Rick existed at all. But answering the text? Never. That was the best decision I've ever made. Better than building your empire? Sarah, you're my empire. You and Lily. Everything else is just background noise." 3 years after the text, Rick came up for early parole. The hearing was brutal. Rick's lawyer argued rehabilitation, claimed he'd found God in prison, insisted he was a changed man. Sarah testified against parole, described the years of abuse, the broken arm, the terror Lily felt that night. The parole board deliberated 30 minutes. Denied. Rick would serve his full sentence. 8 years total. 5 more to go. When he returned to his cell that night, he found a note on his bunk. "Try for parole again, and you won't make it to the hearing." D.C. Rick understood. Dom had connections in prison. Rick's life was only guaranteed if he stayed quiet, served his time, and never threatened Sarah or Lily again. He never applied for parole again. 5 years after the text, Lily turned 14. Smart, confident, nothing like the terrified 9-year-old who'd sent that desperate message. She wanted to be a lawyer, to help people like her mom, people trapped in bad situations who needed someone to fight for them. Dom couldn't have been prouder. Her birthday party was at Dom's estate, the one he'd reopened after years of keeping it locked. 20 kids from her school, bounce houses, a DJ, everything she wanted. Sarah watched Lily laugh with friends and marveled at the transformation. From a girl who flinched at loud noises to this confident teenager who felt safe enough to just be a kid. "We did good," Dom said beside her. "You did good. I was just trying to survive. You did more than survive. You taught me how to live again." Agent Chun, the FBI investigator who tried to nail Dom for years, attended the party too. She and Sarah had become unlikely friends after the investigation cleared Dom of the planted evidence. "I spent a decade trying to prove Dominic Caruso was a monster," Chin told Sarah. "Then I saw him with you and Lily. Realized monsters don't teach teenage girls about compound interest and college savings. Whatever he was before, he's different now. He was always different, just needed someone to see it." 8 years after the text, Rick was released from prison. 51 years old, broken by 8 years inside. No prospects, no family willing to help. Dom's men tracked him from the moment he walked out, followed him to a halfway house on the south side, watched him struggle to find work, to reintegrate, to survive. Rick never approached Sarah or Lily, never tried to contact them, never even drove past their old neighborhood, because he knew one wrong move and he'd disappear. Lily, now 17, didn't care. Rick was a ghost from her childhood, barely remembered. She had a real father now, had a real family. Rick was just the man who'd hurt her mom once upon a time. She moved on. They all had. 10 years after the text, Lily graduated high school. Valedictorian. Full scholarship to Northwestern pre-law. Her speech at graduation mentioned the night that changed everything. 10 years ago, my mom was hurt, and I was terrified. I sent a text to what I thought was my aunt's number. It wasn't. It was a stranger who had every reason to ignore a 9-year-old's cry for help. But he didn't. He came. He saved us. And he taught me the most important lesson I've ever learned. That one person choosing to help can change everything. She looked at Dom in the audience, tears streaming down his face. "Dad, thank you for answering. Thank you for staying. Thank you for showing me what a real father looks like." The auditorium erupted in applause. Dom couldn't breathe. This girl, this incredible young woman, called him Dad in front of hundreds of people, claimed him proudly despite knowing what he was. After the ceremony, reporters swarmed. The story had never quite died. The Mafia boss and the wrong number text. "Mr. Caruso, do you regret getting involved?" Dom looked at Sarah, at Lily in her cap and gown, at the family he'd accidentally built from tragedy. "I regret not answering faster." 15 years after the text, Lily Caruso became a prosecutor, specialized in domestic violence cases. One conviction after conviction, became known as the lawyer who never gave up on victims. She credited 2 people for her career: her mother, who survived, and her father, who showed her that power could be used to protect instead of harm. Dom, now 60, had mostly retired from a life, handed daily operations to younger men, focused on legitimate businesses, spent his time with Sarah and his 3 grandchildren. Lily had married a defense attorney. The irony delighted everyone. "You know what's funny?" Sarah said one night. Both of them gray-haired now, sitting on the same balcony where they'd first kissed. "If I'd written that number correctly, none of this happens. We don't meet. Lily doesn't get justice. Rick might have killed you eventually. One digit, one wrong number, changed 3 lives. For lives, Dom corrected. Changed me too. Think she's watching? Isabella? Proud of what you became." Dom thought about his daughter, dead 23 years now. Thought about the man he'd been then, cold, ruthless, empty. And the man he'd become, still dangerous, but with purpose, with love, with family. "I hope so. I hope she knows that losing her broke me. But Lily's text put me back together. Not just her text. Your choice to answer. Best choice I ever made." 20 years after the text, Sarah Martinez Caruso died peacefully in her sleep at 62. Heart attack. Quick. Painless. Holding Dom's hand. Her funeral was massive. Tenants she'd helped. Families she'd protected. people whose lives she'd touched, and Lily, devastated, delivering the eulogy. My mother taught me that surviving isn't the same as living. She survived Rick, but she lived with Dom. He gave her the space to become who she was always meant to be: strong, capable, unstoppable. Dom sat in the front row, shattered. 20 years together. 20 years of healing, building, loving. Gone in one night. After the funeral, Lily found him in his study. "Dad, you okay?" "No, but I will be. She loved you so much." "I know. She saved me." "Lily, your text brought me to you both, but your mom taught me how to be human again. What happens now?" Dom looked at the photo on his desk. Sarah and him on their wedding day. Both smiling, both believing in second chances. "Now I keep my promise. I promised your mom I'd take care of you and your family. Promised I'd watch your kids grow up. Promised I'd be here. So I'll be here. You've already done so much." "Not enough. Never enough. Your mom gave me 20 years I never thought I'd have. Least I can do is make sure her grandchildren know where they came from." 25 years after the text, Dominic Caruso died at 85, surrounded by family. Lily holding one hand, his oldest grandchild holding the other. Peaceful. Content. Complete. His funeral was attended by everyone: legitimate business partners, former associates who'd gone straight, families he'd protected over decades. But Lily's eulogy was the one that mattered. "My father wasn't perfect. He did things I don't agree with, made choices I can't defend. But when it mattered most, when a terrified 9-year-old sent a desperate text to a wrong number, he chose to help. Not for money, not for power, because it was right. That one choice saved 3 lives. Mine, my mom's, and his own. He was drowning in grief, empty, going through motions. We gave him purpose. He gave us safety. And together, we built something beautiful from something broken. So tonight, if you get a message from an unknown number, don't ignore it. Don't assume it's spam or a scam, because you never know. It might be someone desperately needing help, and you might be exactly the right person to give it." The church was silent except for quiet crying, because everyone understood. One text, 5 words, changed everything. 30 years after the text, Lily Caruso stood at her father's grave, beside her mother's, side by side, together forever. Her own children, teenagers now, stood with her. "Grandma and Grandpa met because of a wrong number," she told them. "I was 9, scared, desperate, sent a text asking for help. And the person who answered changed our entire world." "Was he really a mobster?" her oldest asked. "He was complicated, but he was also the best father I could have asked for. He taught me that power without compassion is tyranny. That helping one person might not change the world, but it changes everything for that person." "Do you still have a text?" Lily pulled out her phone. She'd saved it, backed it up, kept it for 30 years. "Please help. He broke my mom's arm. She's not moving. I'm scared. Please come. 847 Maple Creek Lane." And below it, the response that changed everything: "I'm on my way." 3 words. That's all it took. 3 words from a stranger who became a father. 3 words that proved wrong numbers could be exactly right. 3 words that built a family from tragedy. Lily looked at her children. "Remember this. When someone needs help, you answer. You don't ignore. You don't scroll past. You answer. Because you never know whose life you might save, including your own." The sun set over the cemetery. Lily placed flowers on both graves. "Thank you, Dad, for answering, for staying, for loving us when you had every reason to stay closed off. You saved us, and we saved you right back." She walked away, her children beside her, carrying forward the legacy of a wrong number that became a lifeline. Because that's how miracles work, not through divine intervention, through one person choosing to help when they could have just ignored the call. One person deciding someone else's pain mattered more than their own comfort. One person saying, "I'm on my way," to a stranger who needed saving. And sometimes, just sometimes, that one choice changes everything. For everyone. Forever. One text. 5 words. 3 lives changed forever. Would you answer a cry for help from a stranger? Would you risk everything for someone you don't know? Dominic Caruso did, and found his redemption in a 9-year-old's courage. Drop a comment. What would you do if you got that text? And if this story proved that heroes answer when others ignore, smash that subscribe button right now. We're bringing more stories of ordinary moments that change everything. Hit that bell. You won't miss what's next.